Imagine suffering from constant diarrhea for months at a time, or having your body slowly but surely turning itself into a statue. Yeah, sounds like something you'd want to avoid, doesn't it? Hey everyone, and welcome to Science Illustrated. On this channel, we'll be taking a look at a lot of different topics from the world of science and history. From the most prolific serial killers and brutal dictators to strange mysteries and conspiracy theories. Interested? Then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out on any of our videos. Today's episode will focus on 10 nasty diseases you do not want to get. And, well, I might be stating the obvious here, but some of these diseases also look quite nasty, so, well, there's your warning. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if your body was completely covered in small tumours? Neurofibromatosis 1 and 2 are skin diseases where small non-cancerous tumours are formed in the body's nerve tissue right beneath the skin. It usually starts during childhood, and then the number of lumps increase over time. In some cases, these tumours also form around the organs, the spinal cord and in the brain. There is no real cure when it comes to neurofibromatosis, but surgery can be used to remove the visible tumours and some of the tumours around the organs. The second disease on our list, cancrum oris, or just NOMA as it is also called, is particularly horrible as it primarily affects children in poor developing countries. It's usually caused by severe malnutrition and limited access to quality healthcare. When this disease has taken hold, it leaves the children's faces completely disfigured, and if not treated properly, the mortality rate is said to be somewhere between 70 and 90%. Diarrhea is nothing to laugh about. At least not to the person suffering from it. Then try to imagine having constant diarrhea for months at a time. That's how it is for people suffering from Brainerd Diarrhea. This is a disease doctors don't really know that much about. The first outbreak happened in the town of, well, Brainerd, Minnesota in 1983. Researchers have linked some of the later outbreaks of Brainerd diarrhea to the consumption of raw milk and polluted water, and it is believed that the disease is caused by some sort of infectious agent. Till this day, no treatment has been discovered, and the disease does not respond to antibiotics. In all reported cases, the disease has simply fizzed out by itself. The fourth disease on our list is known as Madura Foot. With this disease, bacteria and fungi infect the skin and the underlying tissue of a person's foot, and after a while, several swellings begin to occur. These swellings continue to grow, and ultimately they will render the foot and ankle of the person almost immovable. And if not treated, it can spread to other areas of the body as well. In the earlier stages, Madura Foot can be treated with antibiotics. But if that does not happen, surgery and even amputations can become necessary as a last resort. Breathing isn't something that we need to remind ourselves of doing all the time. That is, of course, unless you suffer from congenital central hyperventilation syndrome, or just Ondine's curse. Ondine's curse is a disease which affects the nervous system, more specifically the part of the nervous system that controls the functions that our body does for us without us noticing it. In the case with Ondine's curse, it means that the body may simply forget to breathe. So when the patient sleeps, he or she needs a device to help them breathe regularly. As dangerous and frightening as Ondine's curse may be, luckily certain types of therapy and treatment can make the disease easier to live with. Right, this is one of the bad ones. Today, this disease only exists in the tropical parts of Africa, where it goes by the name Marburg Virus. This is a real killer, and related to the dreaded Ebola virus. When you catch the Marburg virus, you start experiencing flu-like symptoms like fever, headache, aching joints and muscles. After a few days though, symptoms start getting worse and may include stomach pains, diarrhea and vomiting. But it does not end here, because after 5 to 7 days you start bleeding from the eyes, then the nose, the ears and the rectum. At this stage, internal bleeding may also occur, and the risk of multiple organ failure increases dramatically. This is the final stage of the disease, as death usually claims the victim after 8 to 9 days. We all know that our body has this magnificent ability to heal itself when damaged. That's also the case for those suffering from fibrodysplasia ossificans progressive, or just FOP for short. In the case of FOP though, this healing process sort of gets out of hand. People suffering from this disease find that when their bodies have been injured, instead of healing the injury as it's supposed to, the body starts turning the affected area into solid bone mass. This means that joints and muscles are simply turned into bone, and the person suffering from it is slowly but surely turned into a living statue. Now it's time we talk about systemic capillary leak syndrome, also known as Clarkson's disease. With Clarkson's disease, blood plasma from the body's blood circulatory system start leaking out into other areas of the body, mainly the muscle compartments of the arms and legs. And when these compartments become filled with plasma that's not supposed to be there, it brings with it some rather undesirable side effects. These include partial or generalized edema, where an accumulation of fluids can cause severe painful swellings, very low blood pressure, and damage to the nerves and muscles and even vital organs in the affected areas. Clarkson's disease is therefore considered a life-threatening illness, but luckily since the early 2000s, immunoglobulin therapy has been proven a very effective way of treating it. The penultimate entry on our list is a disease that most people will have heard of, although you might not have heard of the bacteria it comes from, the bacteria known as Yersinia pestis. This bacteria caused the disease plague, or more specifically, pneumonic, septicemic and bubonic plagues. These diseases are believed to have been the cause of tens of millions of deaths throughout history, perhaps even hundreds of millions. For example, the Black Death, which wiped out at least a third of the population of Europe between the years 1347 and 1353. The question has been asked though, if it really was the plague that claimed all those lives, or if some other disease could have been the real culprit. In 2010, an international research team visited and collected samples from 5 mass graves in England, Holland, Germany, France and Italy. These samples included DNA and proteins from the remains of victims of the Black Death, and after further analysis there was no longer any doubt. In all of these samples, one specific bacteria was found, and this bacteria was none other than Yersinia pestis. The final entry on our list is also very well known. Leprosy is a disease which has haunted humans for thousands of years. And in the Middle Ages, along with the plague, it was the disease that people feared the most. When a person is infected with the leprosy, it is because the immune system is not able to fight off the bacteria Mycobacterium leprae. A person can then go several years without experiencing any symptoms. But when it begins, the bacteria affects the skin and the nerves, causing tenderness, numbness, and even an inability to feel pain. The disease itself is not flesh-eating, which is a common misconception. But due to nerve damage, secondary infections often result in tissue loss, or injuries that end up requiring amputations. Since the 1940s, leprosy has been fairly easy to treat, and today most people are actually immune. That does not mean that the disease is not still around though, and more than 200,000 cases are still reported every year. Primarily in the subtropical regions of Africa, Asia, Central and South America, and especially in poor communities with limited access to proper healthcare. Right, those were the 10 frightening diseases we chose for this episode. Did we miss some obvious ones you would like to see covered in a future video? Then don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section and we will add it to our list of ideas. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell to stay notified about our latest videos. I'll be back here again very soon with another video from Science Illustrated. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you then.